We have studied the uniform plane wave propagation in unbounded media in the previous chapter. Now here we will focus on the transmission lines, that is the communication or the EM wave propagation in the guided media. So they have two different approaches. So the unguided media, the wave propagation in the unguided media is used for example, TV broadcasting, where it means to be communication to be held to everyone. They should reach to the everyone. So they are moving in every direction. So generally they are called unguided media because the space they can move in any direction. But somehow, for example, internet or some communication where we want to have a from point to point or a specific communication, then we have to guide that EM waves to that point. So for that we have to use the guided structures. So the example of guided structures are that the pair of wires or the coaxial cables or the uh, optical fibers. They all are the guided medias. So they are used to carry the EM waves to the specific point, generally from point to point. So here we will see what are the different phenomena, how the wave propagate in the guided media. So we are focusing on the transmission lines. Another way is the guided structure are the wave guides, which will be focused on the next course or the in the higher classes. So we are specifically focusing on the transmission line. So what we have in the transmission line, this is an example, just you can have an example like that. If the students are there in the ground, so they are free to move in any direction. But once they are moving in the corridor or a gallery, have to be guided by the walls. The walls uh, guides them to move in a specific direction. So whenever the gallery turns, they have to turn. So that's where the students can reach in a specific room or a specific point using that guided structure, that is the walls here or the galleries here or the corridor here. The same way here the waves propagate along the guided structures. So transmission lines are used to transmit electric energy and signals from one point to another point. So generally in the lower frequency, when you're working on the 50 hertz, so we say that they are carrying the energy. For example, if you have switch on or off the light bulbs or a fan, so they generally you are concerned about the energy rather than the signals. But when you are moving the high frequency, so high frequency EM waves are used to carry the informations here. So here in the transmission line, it is a guided structure to have a wave propagation. So it consists of two or more parallel conductors used to connect a source to load, example from transmitter to antenna. So typical transmission line include coaxial cables or two-wire line or a parallel plate or a planar line or a wire above the conducting plane. So here we have some example of the transmission line. So here we have the coaxial line. So in we have this inner conductor and you have outer conductor. So you have two conductors. Similarly, you have a two-wire line is there. So you have a two conductors. Similarly, these planar line and microstrip lines are used in the ICs to have a communication between different component within the IC. So they have these two copper plates are deposit in between. We have some dielectric. Similarly, you have some dielectric here, and you have two copper plates or some metals plates are there on the IC. So these are the transmission lines used in the ICs. And here you have the two wire line coaxial line generally used to carry the information. And you have seen these coaxial cable lines in that old TV cables or when you are communicating with the internet, or also here where you have the communication between the telephone exchange up to your house. So here we use the two wire of telephone lines. So here are some examples. So uh, here you have, for example, some pictures, images taken from the net. So this is a coaxial cable here. This is also acting as a transmission guided media. So here the wave propagate along this transmission line. Similarly, you have a twisted pair of wires. You have four twisted pair of wires. So they are also used to carry the information. And here you have a fiber optic, and you will see in the higher courses that each fiber optics here, what you have, this may have core and cladding, two parts of the, we have four channels here. So four transmission lines still are there. So this is you have a core and cladding. Here again core and cladding, and they are separated. So this is how you have the transmission line example. Here you have the pair of wire. You generally phone line pairs. You have a two wires are uh, used to communicate the signals. So here you have a two wires. Okay. Similarly, this is a twisted pair of wires. This is also like take a transmission line. So wave will be propagated or guided along this structure. These two pair of wires. So you have two conductors here. Similarly, you have you have three, four channels are there. So you have four transmission lines here. This is the fifth. This is simply some insulator or something else. So these are the four pair of transmission lines. So here coaxial cable, how it is made. So you have an inner conductor and then you have the insulator and then you have wire braid, the outer conductor. So here you have the outer protective jacket. Okay, polyvinyl chloride used to make this plastic jacket. So do you have insulator? You have two conductors. So this mesh here, you have the mesh here, wire mesh. So this is also from the conductor. So we have two conductor, inner conductor and then outer conductor. The communication will be taken place between these two conductors. So this is outer conductor is also used to shield the interference. You will see it later when you study about the coaxial cable. So here we have again the transmission line. Here this is again same transmission line. To clarify, I have taken this image. You have inner conductor. Here you have an insulator or dielectric between them, generally PVC Teflon, and then you have the braided shielding here. This is also acting as a conductor, and you have an outer jacket here. The similar you can say from the front view, the cross-sectional view, you have inner conductor, dielectric, and then your outer conductor, then insulator. What is here? Here you have a two wire open line. So generally you have a two wire of lines we use to connect the bulb from the switch or generally telephone pair of wires. So you have one positive conductor. Generally this is at higher potential and this is generally as we know in the low frequency, that is the low acting as a low ground conductor or the low voltage conductor. So here you have two conductors, and if we see in terms of electric and magnetic fields, so current is flowing in these two conductors. So you have the current. It means current is flowing. Then there will be a magnetic field surrounding this one. So these will be the H fields, magnetic fields. Similarly, this will be the H fields. So one is going current, it is coming out. So they have a different directions. So similarly, if there higher, this conductor is the higher potential as compared to this one, then there will be electric field from this point to this point, as shown by here. This is how the E and H field distribution will be there with the two pair of wires. So these are used to communicate the electric. Generally, we talk about the voltage and current, but practically there will be electric and magnetic field surrounding these two conductors. Similarly, we have the coaxial cables. Okay, so these are the just an images to view the different transmission mediums. So now let me focus what we have. These are two main difference between the low frequency transmission line and the high frequency transmission line. What we have, same pair of wire. If you let you have a pair of wire, you have this pair of wire, and this one is another one, and you connect here some for example, let you have some lamp here, and here you have some lamp here this one, and you have some source here. And you have, let this one is here, this is a lamp. You have this, you apply this one potential some here. So at the low frequency, what we have, just for example, you are applying some AC source. So you say that this is the V peak voltage, M sum cos omega t. So this voltage is varying with time here, and due to this we have a lamp here which will be on. But we see that this is a varying with time. But at a low frequency, what we considered that the voltage, whatever is there, they are constant with this distance. This is this the over this line, transmission line. So whatever voltage you are getting here, same voltage are here in every point in the space. So we consider to be the constant. We don't consider the phase difference. But actually, practically, the real scenario, the voltage or the electric field at every point is a function of space and time. So when you have the high frequencies, these are not just constant, but the voltage and current or the electric field and magnetic field over this whole distance or the whole transmission line vary with space. So they are function of x. So there the voltage now to become the function of x. If this is x direction, you have x direction. So when you move from here to here, with the low frequency, what we have seen in the for 50 hertz communication, when you used to use the circuits at 50 hertz, the low frequency, we have the whatever voltage we are applying, you have the same voltage. Though they are vary with time, whatever it is voltage here vary with time, the same voltage will be there, but they are not as a function of space. They are only a function of time. So here we consider a function of time. But at the high frequency, this voltage is a function of space. That if you the x direction is the one direction, and the function of time. So you can't say whatever voltage is here, the same voltage will be here at every point. They will be different. Now, this is the same case as in the high frequencies, the voltage and or the electric field a function of distance and time. Same is there in the low frequencies, but we approximate to be constant here. And why? Because when you have the low frequencies, for example, you are moving in the you have 50 hertz. You are in the 50 hertz. The low you have 50 hertz. So 50 hertz low frequency. What is the then lambda? Lambda will be 3 into in general 3 into 10 to the power 8 upon 50 hertz. So what you will get? You have 3 over 5 into something 10 to the power 7 meters. So this will be 0.6. So you have something 6 okay into 10 to the power 6 meters. So what is around 6,000 kilometers. So what is we are getting? The lambda, the wavelength is 6,000 kilometers, is more than 1,000 kilometers. So what is lambda? Lambda is here. What do you mean by lambda? Lambda is the distance which the phase will repeat 2 pi. So if it is at this point and you start moving here this one. So for example, when you're moving from here to here, so this is the one lambda. This is lambda. So it means here when you move from this point to this point, the phase will change in this phase. So it means here you have the 6,000 kilometers. So when you move by 6,000 kilometers in the space, then the signal will change its phase by 2 pi. So in the space also, if the phase is changing. But where you are having a 50 hertz, so this lambda is 6,000 kilometer, and generally in your circuits in your house or near about it is in few meters. So you have this length, for example, this case, this is only you have few meters length. So if you compare few meters with 6,000 kilometers, this is a 6,000 kilometer, and here for example you are here. So this is a very small. If you have a meter and this is 6, this part is very small. So if you move from this point to this point, almost they have the same phase. The phase difference, this is quite seems to be large, but actually it will be very small. So here the phase between these 2 points will remain same. So therefore we can say with the space the voltage remains same because this value is same. The electric field, the voltage, the current all remain same over the smaller distance. So because the lambda is very high, so the few meters or even the kilometers of the distance is will be very small, and thus the phase will not change. So we can approximate that the voltage remain constant over the time. So, but once you move in the high frequency, for example, you are moving, for example, you are in the 300 megahertz range, generally for the communication in the megahertz. So when you have lambda will be equals to 3 into 10 to the power 8 upon 3 into 10 to the power 6. So these two will be cancelled and you have around 1 meter. So the 1 meter of length, even 300 megahertz, this length will become 1 meter. So if you have a telephone line coming from your local exchange to your house, they are in the few where 100 or 200 meters or 500 meters. So there may be the now the over this line, for example, if you have this line, so over this line, because this is a multiple of lambda, you have 100 meters or 200 meters. Even if you are connecting your modem to your computer, that is the LAN network, they are in the meters. So here now the voltage will not remain constant, but they are changing because this is a lambda. This is, for example, comes out to 1 meter, and your distance is also for example 1 meter. So over that point now the voltage is changing with the space. So every point here the voltage will be different. Here will be different, here will be different, here will be different. There will be reverse also. Here you have a positive potential, here a negative, here positive, negative, and here maybe zero. And here you have a reverse, it will be negative and it will be positive. So this will vary over this line. The potential will vary over this line. So we just can't approximate to be constant. So at a higher frequency, now we have to use the voltage, current, electric field, magnetic field with a function of space as you move over the transmission line. Second point is that you have uh, the transmission line. You have a two conductors. You have a conductor here, and these have a two pair of conductor. Let's take the pair of wire. So they generally we use resistance only of the conductors in the low frequency. But however, as you move, we know that the conductor also have the inductance. This will also have the inductance. Every conductor has some inductance. Now also you have here two conductors, and here you have between air or the space. You can say you have a dielectric between these. So they also acting as a capacitance. So capacitance will also appear between the two conductors. So there will be a capacitance between these two. So if there will be inductance and there will be a capacitance between these two. Similarly, you have some dielectric, so there will be a resistance here between these two conductors. But because this dielectric have very high resistance impedance, so we ignore this. So at the low frequencies now, the ZL is given by j omega L, and ZC is given by 1 over j omega c. So when you have the low frequency, for example 50 hertz or 100 hertz, then this value, because inductance of this conductor is small, so this value will become smaller and you can ignore this. Similarly, ZC will become infinite here because omega will be very small. So here this will become very large. So we can ignore that, and you can get the impedance offered by this capacitance will be very high, and there will be no leakage. So we can ignore these two quantity at the low frequency. So and similarly conductance between these two is very small in here because the dielectric. So conductance will be very small. But as you move in the higher frequencies, when you gigahertz, though the L is small, but due to the high value of this one, the ZL will be significant. So they will become significant. You can't ignore them. Similarly, you have ZC will be also have a smaller value. They will not be infinite, but they will be a significant. So we can't ignore. So some current will leak. So this will offer some impedance, and some this will be impedance will be here also we have a significant impedance, though the current will may leak to this one here. So here we will see the how the waves propagate in this guided media transmission line and the high frequencies. So we have two approaches. We can solve the transmission line problems using the EM field theory, and also you can use electric circuit theory. So EM field heavily we have used in the last last unit for the uniform plane wave. Here we will not try to use the circuit theory approach, but here again the voltage and current will be a function of space and time. So same thing what I have explained to you is written here. So the basic circuit analysis, connection between elements assumed to have negligible length as compared to the wavelength of operation. Therefore, magnitude and phase of the voltage and different point on the line connection line are almost equal. So here we have seen again there is a lambda, here is this distance. So if this distance x2 minus x1 is very small as compared to lambda, then these two have the same potential. However, when distance covered by transmission line are in the order of the wavelength or much larger voltage or much larger, the voltage current at different points of the transmission line are different. So what is the case when you have the high frequencies where the lambda is the transmission line length is same, but the lambda is reduced. So lambda is very small, so they will approach towards the lambda. So then the wave phenomena will appear. Its theory has to be applied on such transmission line. So we just can't approximate these two voltages, but rather we have to use the wave phenomena. The signal is moving in terms of the waves. Waves is communicating. So here transmission line are described in terms of their line parameters. So now next part is okay, to describe the transmission line, we describe with their parameters. There are four parameters: resistance, inductance, conductance, and the capacitance. So resistance and inductance will be in the for the conductors, and the conductance and the capacitance is for the dielectric between the two conductors. So here, in general, the line parameters are not discrete. We assume in the circuit theory for the low frequencies to be these parameters are discrete or lumped. But here, where we will use as the distributed parameters, they are distributed only along the entire length of line. So how? So there is some sort of model here. So line parameter are described for 1 unit length. So we generally talk about the resistance per unit length rather than the total resistance. So here in the circuit approach for the low frequency, we use total resistance. But now here we will use the resistance per unit length, capacitance per unit length, inductance per unit length, and conductance per unit length. So we will talk about these parameter per unit length. So here you have, for example, here you have two conductors. So for these conductors, we have the resistance and the inductance here. So we take this resistance modeled as the resistance per unit length. So this is the 1 unit length. Similarly, you have the inductance for 1 unit length, say, and so on. So it will be distributed over to the whole line, transmission line. Similarly, this G is the conductance between these two conductors through this dielectric. So this R and G are not related. They are not, R is 1 over G, but here this G and R is different. This is R due to this conductor, and this is G due to the dielectric. So G is very small. So there generally there is a very small current is flowing between this dielectric. Similarly, the capacitance is between these two conductors. We have two conductors and between dielectrics, so we have some capacitive effect, and there we will talk about the capacitance per unit length. So we have four parameters: resistance and inductance for the conductors, and conductance and the capacitance for the dielectrics. So when we talk about this transmission line, we have two parts. One is the conductor, another is the dielectric. So we specify the conductor with this characteristics, this parameter: conductivity of this conductor with sigma C for the conductor. Similarly, you have the permeability of the conductor, mu C, and you have the permittivity of the conductor is epsilon C. And for the homogeneous dielectric separating the conductor, we generally just denote sigma, mu, and epsilon. So for the dielectric, the sigma is very small. For the perfect dielectric, it will be 0, and you have only two specific cases. But in general, we take three parameters: sigma, mu, epsilon for this. So you have for the conductor, we specify with the subscript C, and for this dielectric, we just say sigma, mu, epsilon. So here the wave is TEM propagating along a transmission line, and it is non-uniform plane wave. So this is not the case of the uniform plane wave, but this will be non-uniform plane wave. and the electrokinetic field will be transverse to the direction of propagation, and direction of propagation will be the along the transmission line. The transmission line is here, so as this changes the path, the wave will also follow that path. Okay, so this is the introductory part. On the next video lecture, we will do the analysis of these transmission line and the circuit parameters.